let go of stress, go to work and do a great job. And when you come home, you leave the therapist in the office or in the kitchen table where you do your Skype. And when you come home, then you're a great partner, a great parent. We have an amazing gift that we are able to do a job where we do make a difference. We do get to see people saying, wow, thanks to you, I lost half my body weight. I found love. I've got pregnant. I no longer scream at my kids. My eczema's gone away. The irritable bowel, I don't know when I last had that. So we really do get to see the difference. And a lot of professions don't get what we get, which is why many people say, I'm leaving nursing, I'm leaving policing, I'm training with you because I get to see the difference I make. So that's all very good. But let's talk about you and the feeling you feel when someone comes to you and goes, here's my problem, please fix it, make me better. I'm depending on you. And many, many therapists get burnout because of the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to fix everyone. And so many therapists have this terrible imbalance. They give and they give and they give and they don't receive. They see too many clients. They take everything home. They worry about their clients. And of course, to give, you must receive. And I do this exercise a lot, but let's do it now. Take a deep breath in. Give that breath away. That's it. And now receive a breath. Take one in. Give it away. That's so normal, isn't it? But let's do what therapists do. Take a breath and now give. Just be a giver. Give that breath away. Keep giving. Give more. Give all of that breath away. Other people need it way more than you. So keep breathing out. Don't breathe in. Just give that breath away. Give more. Keep giving. Empty your lungs and be a proper giver. Give all that breath away and do not take a breath back until you think, this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel comfortable. Of course not. So now take a breath, but this time be a taker. Take all that air in the room. Don't let anyone else have it. Just keep taking, take more. Hold it until you think, that doesn't feel good either. Let me give and receive. Give and take. And when you understand the balance of breathing, you give, you receive, you receive, you give, you must understand as an RTT therapist, or indeed any therapist, you must give and receive. When you go to work, give to your clients, give them everything you've got, give them kindness, empathy, understanding, your vast training, your ability to fix them. But don't take it home. You cannot go and think, I'm so worried about that client. I feel terrible. He told me this terrible story and I'm taking it with me. You'll say to me, but how do you deal with the trauma you hear? And I've heard tragedies every week for 34 years. How does it not affect me? Well, because I know that the day a client comes to me, the day they come to me is the day they're going to be better. And it doesn't help but to go, I hate what happened. I'm thinking about it. That's just awful. I've worked with people who were born into cults, born to pedophiles and systematically abused, raped by their own parents, or burned, had terrible things happening to them. But it doesn't help your clients when you take it on, when you cry. And you'll see, often I get a tear in my eye, and I'm not ashamed of that, but I don't weep because that's not helping my client. But I don't take it home. I have a belief that I don't take it home. Sometimes I go home and I might share a story, but the belief that I'm not taking it home, that I'm doing a great job, that I'm making a difference, I can hold my head up because I know the person I saw that day is probably going to have a better life because of the skill I have and you have. And so I don't take that home. But I'm also very good at doing what I call taking the day. So I will lie on the sofa, completely chill, read a book, watch a movie without guilt. So you may decide you go home and have a lovely bath. You may have crystals around the house. You may meditate or chant. It doesn't really matter what you do, because when you find one thing that works for you, for me it would be a cup of tea, watching an episode of something I love, reading a book, unwinding, hanging out with friends. But the action is run by a belief, this is my stress buster. This is how I cope. This is my thing that I do. Maybe you play the piano. Maybe you listen to music. It doesn't really matter what it is. It matters that you have something that you feel can help you. Because I've treated many therapists in my time, not RTT, who say, I feel I've got to be perfect. I believe that my job is to fix the whole world, and it's overwhelming. So if you get overwhelmed, if you have that pressure, you need to find a way to stop. And I would say, without even skipping a beat, my unhappiest clients in the world by far are the ones who try to be perfect. The models, the actors, the singers who say, I want to be perfect. But you can't be perfect. Nature will not allow anyone to be perfect. And so much anxiety, so much stress comes from this belief, I need to be perfect. I need to do a better job, look better, act better, function better, give more, be seen to be perfect. That is an overwhelming pressure, because here's the truth. When you try to be perfect, you've entered a race with no finishing line ever. There is no finishing line in the race to be perfect. You never get to cross the ticker tape. Imagine this is the ticker tape, and as you run towards it, it moves, and it moves again, and it moves again, and you're in a race to be perfect with no finishing line ever. And how do you get over that? Well, you decide, hey, the best I can ever be in my entire life is a flawed person having wonderful, flawed relationships with flawed people. I am flawed. I'm married to someone who's flawed. I have a child who's flawed. I come from a flawed family. I see flawed people every day. And, you know, when you can celebrate your flaws, it's such a wonderful thing. The basis of all friendship are that we choose people who share our vulnerabilities. And when you can't show your vulnerabilities, you're going to be very lonely. And I've seen this with many therapists who come and go, yeah, you know, I go to my office and I pretend I'm perfect and I see all these clients and I pretend my life at home is good. They don't know that I go home and I have no husband, no wife, no partner. They don't know that I go home and eat a box of Krispy Kreme donuts because I'm so lonely, because I pretend that everything is great. Please don't do that. You know, many years ago, I was seeing a client. I'd just been dumped by someone, and I actually was crying. And my client went, oh, my God, it's so lovely to see someone like you cry. She said, I didn't think someone like you would ever cry. She said, I feel so great. If you're falling apart, it makes me feel better. Not that I recommend ever happening to cry in front of your clients. This was just a particularly difficult situation. But, you know, that's you don't have to be perfect. You know, I had a wonderful friend called Sam Isadora who killed herself in 2016. And Sam did something very interesting. She worked with women who'd been raped. And I watched her work, and every day she'd tell them the story she worked on. Said, hey, I know you've been raped and you think you don't matter, but I was raped. I was raped by my father repeatedly. Then I was raped by people in this cult. And look at me. Am I okay? Am I worthy? Of course I am. So if I'm worthy, you're worthy. But I always saw with Sam something alarming, that she repeated this story every week on stage. And in repeating it, she kept it going. And I did try to say to her, Sam, you know, I know this is your business, but it's like a wound. If you have a little scab here and you pick at it every day, it never gets to heal. In fact, if you keep picking at it, you'll get septicemia. I got a wound, and if I leave it alone, it will get better. I keep picking at it, it will never heal. And so we've got to be very careful about people telling their story. We don't allow clients to come in and tell their story. In fact, we do something great. We interrupt the story. Okay, yes, I understand you're a premature baby. You only weighed 2 pounds. Your mother cried every time you brought up the milk, and you formed a belief, I'll die if I don't eat. But here you are today, you now weigh 400 pounds, and you'll die if you keep eating like that. We interrupt the story. We interpret it, we interrupt it, and then we give the client a new story. With our installation, we say, hey, Your life is a movie, and you have the joy of changing the story, changing the ending. You can edit your story and rewrite your life anytime. Anytime. And many of our clients come in and they just keep telling the same story over and nobody will love me because my father left when I was 2. We never had money. It flips through my fingers. I didn't get enough food to eat and now I can't leave food. I didn't have an education, so I can't be successful. I come from a family who were all alcoholics, all depressed. What hope is there for me? And when you can identify the story, interpret it, interrupt it, and give the client a different installation, different recording, you are able to have the honor, the joy, the privilege of watching the movie of your client's life and knowing that you are going to give that client a better ending to their story. The ending is a long way ahead, but here's their movie, and the day they see you is the day something changes. But I really want you to understand that you cannot be responsible for everyone's happiness. People don't play the recording. They go home and go, oh, that was all silly. They believe that they can go, hey, here's my problem, you fix it. Our clients must participate in their recovery. And sometimes they don't. Usually they do. Sometimes they don't. And you can't be responsible. So what are you doing with your anxiety? You know, I saw Psalm becoming more and more anxious because her story was the same every day. I got raped. Here I am. Look, I'm amazing. And I'm over it. But she was never over it because she continued talking about it all the time. And then she took her life completely out of the blue. I mean, it wasn't planned. She was driving home and she just walked up someone's stairs and actually hung herself with the flex of her computer. It was a terrible thing. And my immediate thought was, I should have saved her. And that's hard when you're a therapist because you think that was my friend. And then people would write to me and go, hey, I thought you were this great therapist. Your friend died. You can't be any good. Somebody was actually coming on our training course who wrote to me and said, well, I've booked to come on the course, but you know, I just heard your friend died and you can't be very good if your friend died. And if your friend died and you didn't fix her, how do I know your course is worth coming on? I said, it's not. And here's your money back. We don't want you on our course because you lack empathy. But I did feel tremendous guilt that my lovely friend died. And I saw her 3 days before. We had dinner. She seemed perfectly normal. She hugged me. She said, I'll see you in Ibiza. She was coming to stay with me. I really had no idea. But when she died, I felt that, oh, I could have saved her. I should have saved her. In fact, she booked an appointment to see me. And on the day of the appointment, she said, actually, can you see my son? And she gave him the session. And she did that twice. So she wanted help. She reached out and then she pulled away. But what do we do when we fail to help someone? What do we do with that guilt, that shame, that blame? I could have saved her. I should have saved her. It was my job to save her. Well, all you can do is sit with that, accept it and go, well, if she'd come to me, I would have done anything to save that girl, but it's not my job. My job when someone knocks on my door is to give them everything I've got. But sometimes it just doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, you've got to take a deep breath and forgive yourself for not being perfect, except, hey, I missed the signs. I didn't see it. I didn't know because I'm human. I'm a flawed person. Here's my dear friend, and I missed the signs. But you have to forgive yourself. In the Bible, it says to err is human and to forgive is divine. And so you have to forgive yourself for making a mistake. Napoleon said, a man who never made a mistake never made anything. And I'm talking today because I see so many therapists who feel, hey, I got to be perfect. I've got to have a perfect marriage. My kids have got to be, I'm a therapist. Surely I've got to turn out perfect kids. People expect a therapist kids to be people who write to me and say, wow, your daughter is so lucky having a mum like you. Yeah, she doesn't think so. I bet you were the most perfect mum. No, I made a million mistakes, probably more. And if I could ever have one wish, I'd go back and give her a better childhood, because I wasn't perfect. I was so busy fixing other people, just like my dad, by the way, who was a head teacher. But I love her dearly. But she didn't have a perfect childhood. So people think, okay, I've got to be perfect. My marriage has got to be perfect. My kids, I better have a perfect body because, hey, I'm a therapist. And I've never told anyone this before, but I'm going to tell you, when I got cancer, first I was in complete shock, but I felt a terrible sense of shame. It was almost like I was ashamed of getting that because I was a therapist. Surely I shouldn't get that. And people would write to me and go, hey, I heard you got cancer. You must be very aggressive. Do you know people with cancer, they're really angry. So I think you're full of aggression and you need to have some therapy yourself. People would write to me and go, wow, your therapy clearly doesn't work. I heard you had cancer. Also heard that you had a hysterectomy. Oh, so you can't be a very good therapist because surely if you're this healing person, you could heal yourself. I probably could have done. I probably could have not had that surgery. But I decided to do both. I'll have the surgery and I'll do tons of healing and I'll talk to my body and mind and I'll recover in record-breaking time, which I did. But it was very weird to feel that shame. I feel ashamed of getting that because surely I'm supposed to be this therapist with all the answers. And surely I shouldn't have got it. And if I got it, I should have fixed myself. And I still see people online saying that. Oh, no, she's not very good. She got cancer, and she had surgery, so she can't be very good. But again, what do you do with that? You just have to let it go. You have to say, well, why shouldn't I get it? Every other person gets it. And you know what? After I got that, I realized that I could look people in the eye that had it and help them more. Many years ago, I had a situation where I'd had a charmed life. I don't have a charmed childhood, but ever since I was a therapist, I had a charmed life. I mean, I was an amazing therapist. I was flown all over the world. I wrote best-selling books, had amazing clients. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I was working on a television show. I was in a relationship and I was pregnant. And I lost the baby, and it turned out to be a cancerous pregnancy called a molar pregnancy. The father had a complete meltdown and dumped me. And then I got replaced on my television show by Anne Widdecombe. Can you believe it? And my dad didn't want to never get big-headed. I'm like, Dad, I got replaced by Anne Widdecombe. How could I ever be big-headed? But that was a lot. Lost a baby, lost the partner, lost my television job all at once. And I'd never had depression until that time. But now I'm thinking, I'm really glad I had that because I can say to people, hey, I know what that is. I had it. I didn't have it very long and I found a way of getting over it. But I can look people in the eye and say, yeah, I do know what it's like to wake up and think, open your eyes and go, oh no, I've woken up to this reality of all this loss. So you just got to be yourself. Fall in love with who you are. Please don't try to be perfect. There's no joy in being perfect. There's no reward for being perfect. In fact, the harder you try to be perfect, the more you get punished for not being perfect. The more you go, yeah, I'm flawed. That's me. I have flaws. The better it is. But there are some techniques that you can do if you're feeling anxious, feeling stressed. I've had an amazing life ever since I became a therapist, even though I had, that thing that visited me, that illness that I usually don't refer to, and lost that baby. But this year has been amazingly interesting. My lovely home in LA was flooded. I haven't lived in it for an entire year. I had to deal with builders that seemed to have a completely unfamiliar relationship with the truth. And then we've constantly been locked out of America. We're in Mexico now, trying to get back into America to start our LA Live School. So it's been an interesting year where a lot of things have happened, but what can you do? So when I was dealing with my builders, my favorite anxiety buster is this sing a song. Every time I had to go down to the street from the house I was renting to the house that was seemingly not making any progress. I put on this song by E17, all right, everything's going to be all right. And I'd listen, it was like an anthem, and it's got a song that goes, it's really all right. And then I'd sing Bob Marley, every little thing is going to be all right, because the music will change your state. One of the things about the mind that's so wonderful is that it can only be in one lane. If you're in the positive lane, you can't be in the negative lane. If you're in the negative lane, you can't be in the positive lane. The mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs. So when stress visits you, when something goes wrong, what do? Well, my advice is find a song and sing it. It can be anything at all. I'm having the time of my life. It's a new day. It's a new dawn, and I'm feeling good. And I've been singing songs ever since. I remember my first song from Cinderella. You can do it, you can do it, you can really, really do it, you can really, really do it anytime. And when I was first a therapist, I remember going to IPC magazines to be interviewed because they wanted, this is how long ago it was, to take my audio cassettes in a magazine. And as I walked into IPC, I was singing that song in my head. And songs have really helped me change my state. The day I was diagnosed with cancer, that was a shock. But 2 days later, I was driving my car and I heard myself singing a song. And it's that song, I feel pretty and witty and gay. And I was singing, my body is healing, my body's healing, and the cancer is going away. And I thought, wow, that's so cool that my mind's come up with these lyrics. So I sang that song to myself. And the minute I got into fear, I sing a song. And I saw that with Marines when they're running, they sing a song. You'll find that bomb disposal experts hum a little ditty to themselves. So personally, I find one of the fastest ways to get over anxiety is to sing a song. When I'm walking on stage, I usually sing that song by Fatboy Slim, I Need to Praise You Like I Do, because that's what we do. We make people feel good about themselves. When I walk on stage, I often have this song by Shalimar, I Can Make You Feel Good, Take That to the Bank. And I think, well, that's a great lyric. I can make you feel good, and I can take that to the bank because that's what I do. I need to praise you like I do. Take the shackles off your feet and dance. I just want to praise you. There's so many amazing songs. And when you're feeling anxious or nervous and you sing a song, you can't be anxious. So that's something immediate. And we can all pick our own song. It can be anything at all, and just sing it. What else can you do? Well, this is something I love to do, and I want you to do it right now. We have stress receptors here. It's why people, when they're stressed, start to eat. They bite potato chips and they eat big chunks of French bread, because when you're stressed, these receptors respond to movement. So we're all taught, don't touch your face, but I want you to touch your face. I want you to imagine you're super stressed, and just from your ears to your chin, just do that. And just keep doing it with me. It may seem a little crazy, but you often see geniuses, and they do this. They sit and they stroke their chin, because stroking your chin removes anxiety. Stroking your face releases tension. You have these stress receptors here, so press them, stroke them, and you'll actually find, amazingly, that is an incredible way of releasing stress. Here's my favorite one. Sounds a bit gross, but it's so cool. I want you to fill up your mouth with saliva right now. Go on, fill up your mouth with saliva, so much saliva, and start swirling it around. I'm doing it now. My mouth's open, actually, but I'm going to shut it. I'm going to show you me doing it, and you'd never know. I'm pumping out saliva and swirling it around, because a wet mouth signals to the brain that you're super relaxed. That's what kissing does. Let me tell you that again. A wet mouth sends a message to your brain, you are relaxed, you're chilled. That's why people in court, when they're giving evidence, drink water, tons of water, because, oh, my mouth is so dry, I'm nervous. It's why store detectives and immigration officers look for people who are licking their lips, going like this, because they know that a dry mouth means you're nervous, a wet mouth means you're relaxed. And when I was giving birth, I knew that if I kept my mouth really wet, it would help me give birth, and it really did. And actually, I hypnotized her to give birth. He said, I sang throughout that birth. It was weird. I had to concentrate, but all the time I was singing, the pain was so minimal because I kept singing. So stroking your face is amazing. Nobody really knows. If you sit there doing that, nobody goes, what's that weird? They just think, oh, you're just playing with your face. Do that. Nobody cares. Fill up your mouth with saliva and swirl it around. You know, many years ago, it was the strangest thing. I was in LA. I was working for Jane Fonda. I was getting some stuff out of the trunk of my car. And I heard this guy running. And I knew he was going to mug me because he was right. And I just didn't even have time to move. And it happened. It was very quick. He took my bag. He took my stuff. But what was so weird is that he left. The police came. And I couldn't remember where I lived. And I understand now why I didn't understand then, because I wasn't studying human behavior then, that when you're nervous, your mind empties. And they said, where do you live? I said, I don't know. What's your address? I don't know. I only knew I had 2 gay friends who lived in Comstock Towers. And they called them and they gave them my address and the police took me home. And they said to me, fill up your mouth with saliva and your memory will come back. Because I couldn't even remember my phone number. And I didn't have a mobile phone because it took all my stuff. But when you fill up your mouth with saliva, it helps you remember, it helps you relax, it makes you super chilled. So if you're having a stressful day with a client, fill up your mouth with saliva. Or I'm going to get some water now. Drink some water. Hold that in your mouth, swirl it around. It's amazing how it signals to the body. You see, one of the beautiful things about RTT that doesn't happen in many other therapies is this. In RTT, the mind sends signals to the body. The mind says signals, you can cope, you're amazing, you've got this. Oh, you're going to ace that exam. Who couldn't love you? So the mind is sending, so you're recovering super fast. Your metabolic rate's amazing. You can eat anything and burn it off. You love apples and healthy food. So the mind is sending signals to the body. But here's something else that happens. The mind interrupts the signals the body is sending back. You don't say, I'm exhausted, I'm a little bit tired. You don't go, oh, I'm starving, I could eat all. You go, oh, I need to eat something healthy. I could wait an hour or so, but I'm just about ready to eat some really good, nutritious food. So it's so incredible. We can send better signals out and we can interrupt the signals coming back. And when you fill up your mouth with water, your own saliva or water like this, you immediately interrupt the signal that says, I'm stressed. And you go, oh, my mouth's wet, got to be relaxed. And that's true. Here's another one. When I was teaching at Rushton Hall last week, this lovely girl said, you know, my shoulders used to be earrings. And since the day you hypnotized me, I've stopped living like that and I live like that. So always keep your shoulders down. Push your shoulders down. Keep them down. Don't allow yourself to do that and keep doing that. And check in with yourself. Where are my shoulders? I'm going to a meeting, I'm late, I'm in traffic, this is going on. But am I like this? Can I still push my shoulders down, fill up my mouth with water? Because you can't change the traffic. You can't change the fact that something's going on. You can't change the fact that your house is being flooded, but you can always change what it means. And here's another one that I love. And this is a havening technique. You might have already heard it. And actually, Caroline was showing it to you. She was showing you the tapping. Do this with your hands and just push your hands down. It's not that. It's not rubbing. It's pushing down to your elbows. And again, thanks, darling. So I'm giving you 5 things that you can do. Stroking your arms. This is immensely relaxing. If you think about something wonderful, having sex with someone, having a massage, having a bubble bath, how much your kids love you, the letter a client sent saying you changed their life. If you think about that while you do this, it makes you relax. You've got 5 options. Fill up your mouth with saliva, stroke your face and your chin, push your shoulders down, do this. And here's the other one, which I love. It's that. You know, when your kids are drawing, they stick their tongue through their mouth and they go like this. Weirdly enough, doing that is actually another thing that relaxes you and helps you focus. I want to do a very quick meditation, a nicer meditation. Nicer, this is amazing. I was in Thailand and I dreamt this whole nicer meditation. In fact, when I dreamt it, I thought I was doing it on ice, because I think ice. You're going to impress upon yourself what you want, code in what you want, and erase what you don't want. But I thought, I can't have ice. And I thought, no, nicer. It's new. It's innovative, it's coding in, it's erasing, it's repeating and rewiring. So I want you to imagine you've had a stress day, you're feeling anxious. It's going to take 3 minutes. So just make yourself relaxed. And one of the best ways to relax is to uncross your ankles, unfold your arms. Don't do that blocking. Sit with your knees open, your feet open, your arms, hands up if you can. It's not really hypnosis. We're going to look up because we want to get that burst of alpha. So I want you to look up. Remember, when you look up, keep your eyeballs up and close your eyelids. You go into alpha. Alpha is where you are receptive to great suggestions. Then you go into delta, even more receptive and super relaxed. So look up, keep your eyeballs up. Breathe in and out. You only have to do this once. Breathe in, keep your eyeballs up, close your eyelids down, and just breathe. Just give and receive a breath. The first thing you did when you came on the planet was take a breath and give one away. So just breathe. And then I want you to take your index finger and your middle finger, and I want you to press the area right in between your eyebrows. Just press. And I want you to impress upon yourself. I have phenomenal coping skills. I have a skill of relaxing easily. I can banish stress in moments. So I want you to press that little area in between your eyes and impress upon yourself, instruct your mind, install in you the truth. You have phenomenal coping skills, and you have skills to release stress almost immediately. I don't want to say any negative words. We're just going to say releasing stress. So impress upon yourself how good you are at releasing stress. Install and instruct your mind that you have the power to release stress. I want you to open out your hands and call in your technique. I want you to imagine I'm standing in the line at the store. It's really long. I'm in the queue of traffic. It's really long. My kid can't do their homework and I don't know how to help them. And I want you to see yourself filling up your mouth with saliva, maybe singing a little song. I want you to really feel that feeling of letting go of anxiety. Feel that feeling of it just draining away. See what it looks like. What does it look like, feel like, sound like? Imagine you've seen 4 clients today, and it's very easily overwhelmed, but not you. No, because you just breathe. You sing your song. You let it all go. And I want you to just start rocking from side to side, 2 inches to the left, 2 inches to the right. And as you rock, you are erasing, eradicating, eliminating stress. You're erasing, eradicating, eliminating, releasing stress. It is shrinking, fading, disappearing, going, gone. And I want you to just put this together. Take your finger and thumb, impress upon yourself a stress release technique that you would love to have. Impress upon yourself, hey, I've got that. I do that all the time. I sing my song, fill up my mouth with saliva. So effective. I'm just amazing at this. And then hold out your arms and call it in, code it in. What does it look like? What does it look like, feel like, sound like? What does it taste like? Well, my mouth's always wet. What does it smell like? Well, I'm so chilled. I don't have that. Other people are breaking out in a sweat because I'm cool, calm, collected. And then just rock from side to side, erasing, eradicating, eliminating. See, stress is not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. This too will pass. Crazy things happen to everyone. No one's life is perfect, but yours is almost perfect because you know how to manage stress. You know how to release it, how to minimize it. The most powerful words in the whole world are let go. Not hold on, let go. And you have the joy and the privilege and the delight of letting go. Going to work, being a great therapist, being a great friend, a great parent, a great partner, a great son or daughter. You're good at all of it. And you're even better because you can let go. Let go of stress. Go to work and do a great job. And when you come home, you leave the therapist in the office or in the kitchen table where you do your Skype. And when you come home, then you're a great partner, a great parent, or an ordinary parent. Picasso said, when I go to work, I open my studio, I see a lump of stone, I chip away, and I release the angel in that lump of stone. But when I go home, I shut the door, and I'm not Picasso anymore. And I love that. I open my studio, I see the angel, and I chip away, I release the angel. Because that's what we do. We go to work, we open the door, maybe metaphorically switch on the laptop, and we chip away at our clients and release the angel in there. We give them empowerment and freedom. But then when we finish, we shut the laptop, we shut our office door, we go home, and we just become us. We don't have to therapize everyone. Well, my husband says to me occasionally, don't therapize me, because I've got to do that. And you've got to do that because you feel like that, because my daughter says, Mum, stop being a therapist. And I love that because I'm Mum. I'm a wife, I'm a friend. I'm also a great therapist, but not every day, and neither are you. Check out my next video here.